Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up Supercast Game Club. My name is Brandon, and I am your host. And joining me today, I have Ills.
Looking back on it all, we had some good times.
And I have Noah.
Kill, 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 kill!
And this week, for the Up Supercast Game Club, we played The Last Story. And Ills, this was your choice. You decided to round out the Operation Rainfall games for us, at least on the list. This was a RPG that was released on the Wii back on January 27th, 2011 in Japan. Then came to Europe a year later, February 2012, and then a few months later came out to North America, August 14th, 2012. So a big gap between release in Japan and in America. And there's a reason for that. If you're not aware of Operation Rainfall, it was basically a fan campaign, and I think we've talked about it. We definitely talked about it on this podcast. And
yeah, we did Pandora's Tower. Yeah,
we talked about it on the Game Club already, even. But if you haven't listened to that episode, we'll briefly go over that. Operation Rainfall, it was a fan campaign for 3 RPGs that Nintendo had published, but did not release outside of Japan. And, the Wii was a popular console, so people really wanted to play these games. And they were all getting pretty good reviews in Japan, so people were aware of them and the fact that they were all pretty decent games, and they just wanted them to be released outside of Japan. So a bunch of passionate fans.
It was. I think it was more because the Wii had a dearth of hardcore games, I guess you would call them. Mm-hmm. It was very much thought of as a kiddie game console.
Yeah.
So whenever we had these games that we could have had here, there was uproar.
Yeah,
we wanted all those games.
Kind of annoying too, right? You see Japan getting all these RPGs that look really interesting, and we get all this shovelware. So it was like, what the hell? There's a lot of passionate fan outcry for it. The campaign, was noticed. I think by Nintendo, they even said something. Had a statement about it. Like a kind of a blanket statement of, we hear the fans, blah blah blah. There's no official, correlation that says that Operation Rainfall is the reason these games came out in North America. All 3 of them, by the way, it was besides The Last Story, it was Xenoblade Chronicles, which it became its own thing, and Pandora's Tower, which we also played on the Game Club. There's no exact correlation that this Operation Rainfall was the reason these games got released, but you also can't, it's hard to just deny that and say, no, there's no way they just came out, because this is a big thing. I have to believe that it had something to do with it, although there's no official statement that it did, And interestingly, this game was, The Last Story specifically was developed by Mistwalker, which I'll talk about them in a minute, but was published in Japan by Nintendo, like all 3 of the Operation Rainfall games. But in North America, it was published by Xseed, who also did the publishing for Pandora's Tower. The only one that was published by Nintendo in North America was Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade is a big game.
Yeah.
So, Ills, why don't you tell everybody why you decided to pick The Last Story?
2 words, Hironobu Sakaguchi, of course. I love Final Fantasy. I played most, if not all, the mainline, not MMORPG ones. And, I love his work. He's a fucking visionary. And he makes good games, and that's why I wanted to play this, because he made this. Okay. And Uematsu, too, who did the music, who also did a lot of the music of the Final Fantasy series.
Yeah. Yep. And it even says it right on the box. That's one of the selling points of the last story.
It definitely is.
It just says, directed by Sakaguchi and music by Uematsu. So they just straight up are like, hey, listen, if you like Final Fantasy, you'll like this game. They want people to get in on it. And you mentioned that Sakaguchi was the director and the co-writer of this game, who is the original creator of Final Fantasy. And the studio Mistwalker is a studio that he started. And this wasn't their first game. They had made a few. In fact, they kind of started on the Xbox 360 of all things. They made Blue Dragon and was it Lost Odyssey, right? The other one? Yeah.
Yes.
Which both I've heard pretty good things about.
2 games I would pick on the Game Club if I was allowed.
If you were allowed. Well, you have the Game Club Extra, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe someday. And if you did pick both of those games, either of those games for the Game Club Extra, I would want to join in because I want to play both of those games at some point. I think I have. I know I have Blue Dragon, like the actual physical copy, which is like multiple discs. And then Lost Odyssey, I think was like free at some point on Xbox, which is cool. But yeah, interesting that both those games, they started on Xbox. They also had another game that was going to be on Xbox that ended up getting canceled called Cryon. But they went on to make a couple Blue Dragon games, right? Like sequels, like Blue Dragon Plus. And for like
I think it has one sequel. I don't remember how many sequels, but
there's
I know
Blue
it has
Dragon
one
Plus and Awakened Shadow, so there's 2. And I think they both came out on DS. And then they made the last story. And then they went on to make, they're pretty much just now doing mobile games, right? Which Terra Battle and Terra Wars, yeah. But they have a game coming out this year, actually, like called Fantasian, I think it is. And I saw some footage, and it is an Apple Arcade game, but it looks cool. I hope that it comes out on like Switch or something, because the game has like all their environments and stuff are like clay models and stuff. In like all of it is like hand built like clay models that you walk around in, and it looks really cool. And I hope that game comes out outside of Apple Arcade because I don't have a way to play it because I don't own any Apple products.
I played Blade Guardian a little bit. It's like a tower defense kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that good.
Yeah, weird that after the last story that they shifted completely to mobile.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, and the last story was a success. At least here. Yeah.
I mean, Xseed said at the time, I don't know if it still is, but at the time when it came out, Xseed said that it was their most successful title to date. So, I don't know. Maybe I know mobile gaming is big in Japan, right? So maybe that has something to do with why they decided to shift focus to mobile. But who knows? Again, let's hope. Maybe it'll come to Switch. Switch is blowing up. Switch is like the biggest thing in Japan and all around the world right now. So maybe they'll decide to bring that new game to the Switch. But anyway, the last story, like I mentioned, RPG, right? But it's an action RPG. So it's not a turn-based RPG like Final Fantasy is, and kind of like even game that he made before, Blue Dragon. I don't know what the Last Odyssey is. Is it an action RPG or not?
It's turn-based.
Is it turn-based? Okay. So I don't know if this is the first game he made, action RPG, but it's interesting because it mixes kind of like stealth gameplay into it a little bit too, and like third-person based cover controls. So it's an interesting take on the action RPG style of combat.
Yeah, I mean, it has these elements, but in general, I mean, all the gameplay elements, including the stealth and the, third-person shooting or whatever, they're all pretty shallow. I mean,
yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
It definitely feels unique, and being stealthy and using the cover it gives you access to more moves, like the slash and doing extra. Yeah, and then but that basically does extra damage to your enemy and things like that, and you can get rid of aggro if you need to, but I mean, yeah, it is different. But then you also have the mechanic where you press a button and you basically draw all aggro from all the enemies to like kind of take away, so you can let your magic casters cast their magic and other people attack too. Plus, there's like other like in-story bonuses and things like that happening in the battle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it has like some of these things, but I mean, it's so not emphasized. Like it's not very well thought out.
It could have been fleshed out better.
Yeah, fleshed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any time where the game kind of like was like you need to be stealthy, you really didn't need to be stealthy. I felt like, except for the parts where it literally would give you a game over if you got caught. But other than that, you know, interestingly, like before you go into battle, a lot of times it does this like overhead like flyover of the layout in like the enemies, and then the characters have a conversation of how to go about it.
Yeah, like a tactical view.
Yeah, which is kind of neat. But some of them, they just, as soon as you start, whatever they were saying, like, oh, we should do this, like, specifically, it just goes to the shit hits the fan, and you're just like, I'm just going to kill everything, you know?
I feel like those moments...
I just immediately aim for the wizards, the healers, and the archers.
Yeah, pretty much same. I mean, sometimes that's what they tell you to.
I feel like those moments contribute more to, like, just your feeling of being in this group rather than actually being worth any actionable information.
Yeah, because the game does. We talk about this. The game has, you are in a group. You're in a group of mercenaries. And one of the things right off the bat I noticed that I thought was interesting about this is typical RPGs. You play as one character, right? You start off, and then maybe you have a childhood friend or whatever that joins you at the beginning, but then you like gather party members throughout the story. But this game is just like right at off the bat. Here's like an established group of like friends, mercenaries, who have known each other for years, and already have a dynamic, and this is your party, right?
I kind of liked it.
I liked it too.
I liked it a lot.
It was cool.
I mean, it's good that they have like, it's not you don't need to like reinvent the wheel. You don't have to reintroduce every fucking character. If you just have these characters that you already have, and you get to explore their dynamic already.
Yeah, and you get to see like their relationship between each other through all the conversations they have between each other, like through battle, just walking around, like just going through like the dungeons, quote unquote dungeons. You get to hear like all the banter, and it's great. It's like you really like get a sense of what their relationship is between each other, each and every one of them.
And there's a lot of banter.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, I like
some of it. I like. You have to like slow down to like hear it all, because like if you go from one room to the next, they'll just cut it off. So like I just like wait, because I wanted to hear the banter because I thought it was good. It was entertaining, and I was definitely just a unique take like on the typical RPG where. Again, you just get this whole group of friends, and I was like, oh, this is really neat, and you get to learn more about them, and there's like different parts of the game where only some of them are there, and in those parts you get to learn maybe a little bit more about some of the specific characters, whereas if they're all in a big group you don't know. I thought it was cool, and I liked learning about them and they're all I think pretty interesting characters too. That all have their own kind of like goals and just things that keep pushing them, and I thought that was cool. I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, every time like there are multiple chapters in the game where each character gets like a little bit of more of a focus. So like when you have in a certain chapter you have this you go through this ship that's broken down. It's actually one of your character's father's old ship, and then you like piece together what happened to the past, and then after that happens, and you learn about like he warms up more because he learns about what happened to his father basically. And so that was one of the moments that illustrates their dynamic.
Yeah, and it was cool because at the beginning of the game that same character was like more cold and just
he was a lot colder.
And then after that he was a lot more open, and he had more of a purpose. I felt like because he wanted to like fulfill his father's dreams and that. And I was like, this is good. This is cool character building.
Mm-hmm.
And that part had a really cool boss battle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like one of my favorite ones of the game. I thought it was really
the doppelganger.
Really
it was really good.
Yeah, it was just like a guy making different clones, and like you could attack your own teammates too. At that point, the only time you could. It was confusing, but I was like, this is cool. I like this.
It made sense.
Yeah, pretty neat. But yeah, I think the main character, his name is Zale, right? And he's one of the mercenaries, obviously, in the group, and his best friend, Dagran. They grew up kind of together, both like orphans, and Dagran kind of took Zale under his wing, and they became mercenaries, and they started this group. And they now are on Lazarus Island. It's the name of the island that they live on, and they just go around doing jobs, just trying to get jobs to make money. And because they're mercenaries, a lot of them are them getting into fights and scraps with other people. And they
and in this world, like, mercenaries are looked down on like a lot.
Yeah.
So they don't want to be mercenaries. They want to be knights. They want to move up in the world.
Yeah, that's Zale's biggest dream, is he wants to become a knight. So just so he can just be respected and be in a better position, so people didn't look down on him anymore. It wasn't like a pursuit of power. It was just he wanted to be in a position of respect.
Yeah, they keep saying this thing over and over, like, we just want a decent life. Like,
yeah.
And that's basically their goal. Like, they've been living, meal to meal for a long time.
Yeah, and right now they basically just live at the top of a bar, like a tavern. So, like, they just... I mean, for Seren, that's the life I feel like she wants to live. But for the rest of them, they want to... most of them want a little bit something more, especially Zale and Dagran. And Dagran, too, kind of is like... he kind of wants to help Zale make his dream a reality.
Yep.
So you go through as Zale, and you early on in the game meet a girl in the city, and kind of spend the night with, like, not spend the night with her, but run around the city with her, because there's people chasing her, and then you become close to her, and you end up really liking her a lot, and they share a moment, like, with some shooting stars and all this, and it's all romantic, but then she has to go, and I think it's pretty clear at the beginning that she is, like, some sort of royalty, because I'm playing the game and I'm like, this is literally this specific part is just Aladdin.
Yeah. It is.
Because she's running around, and then she, like, goes to, like, a shop, and she goes to, like, take something, and the guy's like, you have to pay for that. And she's like, oh, you have to pay for things? And I'm like, this literally happened in Aladdin. I'm like, this girl, and she's getting chased by, like, guards. I'm like, she's got to be a princess, right? Like, it was just very funny to me that was almost the exact setup. Obviously, the rest of the game's not Aladdin exactly, but it was just very funny. Sorry. You can't just watch Aladdin to get the same story as The Last of Us. Or The Last Story, geez. The Last of Us. That either one of those games. But yeah, you meet her, and then she becomes one of your party members later on. Her name is Callista, and she joins the group, and she's one of the main focus. Basically the second main character of the game.
Yeah. One of the things I like about this is that they have, like, they give you, like, 6 characters to wield when you have a full party, but a lot of times you only have, like, 4 or 3 or 2 or something like that, and characters just drop in and out, as they relate to the story, and I thought that kept it pretty fresh.
Even though it was really nice, though. I mean, you do level up pretty easily in this game. But, like, for the first couple of fights, like, your main character, Zale, like, he's always in the party. Well, he's 99% of the time he's in the party. But he's always like at a high level. Like I would be like level 25, and then one of the members from the last party would be with me. So I have 2 level 25 characters, and then a character that I haven't used in a couple of chapters joins, and he's like level 15. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, like, we go into battle, he dies instantly because there's no defense. He's, like, very under level. But then as soon as I beat a battle, he levels up, like, 2 or 3 levels. Like,
yeah.
So for the first couple of battles, the character that just joined, that hasn't been with you for a while, just plays catch-up. Which isn't too bad, but it's just, like, it's kind of jarring.
They catch up extremely quick.
Yeah.
You gain a level basically every fight.
Almost every fight, yeah. You really do. And there's like certain points in the game where there's like these summon circles, right? Where you can just summon more monsters to fight. And every time I find one, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to use this until I do a fight where I don't level up, and then stop.
Yeah.
And then move on. You know, I'm like, might as well just keep fighting until I stop leveling up.
Yeah,
and sometimes you do it like 5 or 6 times. You'd be like, wow, just keep leveling up, you know?
Very much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
No. I did. At the last boss, I also grinded just to get a higher level, and I ended up like wiping the floor with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the last boss is extremely difficult.
Yes.
If you're underleveled, and I was underleveled, so that was the only time I had to grind.
Yeah, the same. It's the only time I had to, like, actually necessarily had to do it, was that, because I was also underleveled. I think I was level 56 when I fought the last boss, and then I got near the end. This is without spoilers, but got near the end of it, and it took me like, it was like a 30+ minute, I felt like, fight, right? And then I fucking died. And I was like, okay, not again. This isn't happening again. And then I grinded up to level 70 and just fucking wiped the shit with him. Like, it was so easy. Yeah, 70. It was just so easy after that. But, like, yeah, I mean, you didn't really... the rest of the game, it was weird because none of it was, like... it never really presented, like, an extreme challenge at any point until, like, I felt like getting closer. Building up to the end.
Yeah, like, there were certain fights that were, like, challenging, but it wasn't challenging because you were, like, under-leveled or over-leveled or anything. It was challenging because, like, the enemy had some, like, cheap mechanic that would, like, that you couldn't do anything unless you did something, you couldn't do any damage to it unless you did something very specific.
Yeah, it was more just trying to figure out how to beat the boss some of the times.
Yeah, and if you, like, go too long without, like, figuring it out, you just die because there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, except for one boss actually really fucked me over, and I don't know if this happened to you guys, but it was this big spider that just sucked up all your party members, and I was like,
yeah, that was one of them where I had to figure out what the fuck is going on, yeah.
The guy, if you don't cut the string?
Yeah, and,
oh, no, he never sucked up
one of the
any
characters' side story, yeah.
Yeah.
He never sucked up any of mine, because
it literally got to the point where it was just me. And I was like, I cannot beat this guy by myself. So I just got sucked up on purpose. There was another point. It was one of the side missions too, where your characters like kept getting stolen by like one of the guys.
Yeah, that was the
haunted house.
Oh, the haunted house. That was a cool one.
Yeah. And then if they got like taken away, you have to like go get them out of like the coffins. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of cool.
Yeah, I felt like the chapters, especially like these optional chapters, they almost felt like you were playing a TV show. Like this felt like unrelated adventure that we're going on for a little while. Yeah. But then overall, we're actually building up these characters and building up their relationships to get the payoff that the main story is going to give you, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, they did. It did feel kind of like randomly out of place. Like, oh, we're going to a haunted house. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
We're going to a pirate ship, or we're going to save a kidnapped child.
And then you even had, I think one of the side stories was just like one of the shopkeepers, and like you go through like a tomb with him. Yeah. And I did like too that sometimes it wasn't even just your normal party members that were in your party. Like you had like that dude, the shopkeeper, but you would also have like some of the other knights would join your party for different battles.
Yeah, one of the like Therius or General Ashtar.
Yeah.
or Count Argonon.
Mm-hmm. They would just join your party sometimes, and they weren't completely useless either.
Yeah. They died most of the time for me, but I didn't care.
The shopkeeper guy died, but you couldn't really do much. But they weren't all completely useless, which is cool. And
it makes sense, like when you're traveling around with these people, for them to actually help you in battle. Like that makes a lot of sense in world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would like follow you around and stuff, and you'd actually see them. Sometimes they'd like disappear to keep up with the character, but it was still cool to like see them like actively being around and following.
They're
you
not
around.
just like NPCs following you. They're actually contributing.
Yeah, and I did like you could. I felt like I could never get lost in this game. Like I never didn't know where to go because they always made it like extremely clear. Like your party like would like line up in front of the door that you're gonna go to next.
Yeah.
Which I liked a lot.
Nice touch. That was a very nice touch because then I knew also when I was with a fork in the road, I was like, okay, which way do I go? All my party members go to the left. Okay, that's the story. Where I'm going to the right first to check out what's there.
Yeah, you can find like a treasure chest or something. Yeah.
It's a neat little way to hint to the character
because there was no map except for when you're in like the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked it. I felt like I was never getting lost in any of these dungeons or catacombs or anything. I always knew which way to go.
They were pretty linear to begin with.
They were pretty linear.
Yeah, but it was a nice little touch though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't mention like every time you go into a chapter, the game basically teleports or brings everybody to a specific location. That's I guess later on you can access it if you go through the map to replay the chapters, but yeah, it's basically it feels a little detached. Because you don't actually get to go to each location or dungeon where the chapters take place. But it's an interesting new way of doing it because that gives you that way they can like skip through like the boring, sometimes can be boring stuff and just go right into the thick of it.
I generally like that. I mean, the narration did the heavy lifting of telling you how you got there or what you were doing there. And that kept the pace brisk, it kept you moving along and everything was very concise. Every chapter felt it was never that long, so you were always moving forward, and that was satisfying.
Yeah, I agree. And there was 44 chapters total in the game.
But like some of them six of them are optional.
Yeah, and weird, kind of like it reminded me a bit of because we just played Police Knots. Of like some of the chapters were just randomly like 2 seconds long, and then none of them were like extremely long.
Literally just like walk to a spot, cutscene happens, end of chapter.
Yeah, it was weird. They just used the chapters to just break up scenes, I guess, because some of them were like literally like 5 minutes, of a cutscene.
Wow. I have something to tell you on that point because the Alliance Alive, that game does that too, and there are fucking chapters in that game that are exactly one cutscene.
Wow. I assume that there is a lot of chapters in that game then.
There are 40 chapters.
Oh wow, pretty much the same then.
Yeah.
But probably a much longer game. You guys are playing it on the Game Club Extra, so
a bit longer.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, this game, it does go at a brisk pace. I mean, even though it was like, 25 hours or so.
I did it in under 20, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I did it under 20 as well. But it felt like it was just, it felt like it kept going. The story kept moving. I didn't really feel like it was dragging at any point. Because it's not an overly long, when you think of JRPGs, a lot of times you just assume they're going to be 40 plus hours, right? And this one is not. It doesn't overstay its welcome. And it doesn't really have any slog points.
Well, I mean, we can only play short RPGs, so
yeah,
there's a selection bias there.
That's true. That also is true. But you know how JRPGs usually, at least for me, a lot of times they get to like a very sloggy part of the story, which sometimes kind of happens like in the middle-ish when like a big revelation happens, but it feels like it...
Or like you get sidetracked and something else happens that kind of pulls you away from the main story but still has something to do with it, kind of.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes you think like this is your end goal, but then something else happens and you have a new end goal and you feel like you're starting all over again, but you've already played the game for 30 hours. You know?
Tales of Vesperia.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing Dragon Quest XI, and that kind of happens in that game too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just this doesn't really suffer that because it just has like one condensed story that is for the most part pretty good.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel short. Like it never felt like it was like too short. Everything felt like it was a good amount of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it had some good pacing too, and like good reveals that made you want to keep going. Specifically as Zale. And Zale had very good, at least I think actually really, really good in terms of character development from him.
Yeah, in the beginning I didn't really feel that I didn't care for him. I cared about other characters first. Like, Low's still my favorite out of the group, but... in the beginning, I didn't care for him. I cared more for everybody else. I cared more for Dagran and Serene, everybody, and then... Oh, Yurik, not that much, but...
Wow.
Yeah, then I just, eventually, once the story kept going, I started to like him and his character, as his character developed, so it was good. It was really good.
You hate him because he only has one eye.
Well, no, well, kinda.
I know.
In the beginning it was pretty boring. Later on, he got better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that happened to me, but like with the whole story. Like initially, I wasn't really that tuned into the story. I didn't really feel like that invested in it. But then, as it kept going and going, like I got more and more, sucked in. And I felt like, by the end, I felt like really satisfied by the story. Like, but when I was playing this game, like the first 5, 6, 7, 10 hours maybe, like I was like, okay, why is this game so highly regarded? But then you realize by the time you get to the end that it's all just like slowly building up that in ways you probably don't even really realize until you get to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're deepening your connection with these characters that ultimately pays off.
Sure.
Yeah, because at the beginning it seems like kind of just your guy meets girl, girl is princess.
I've seen this story 1,000 times.
They were really pushing the love story from the very beginning. Like, these... the characters got really attached really fast, like within the first day. I was like, okay, that's... It feels a little bit less believable, but yeah.
I don't know. I can kind of see it.
I agree that it happened a lot pretty fast, but I can see it because, I mean, both of them are kind of like naive in that way, but and idealistic in that way. But like, it's nice that they had like, a rocky, it wasn't very smooth for the most part. They had a lot of fucking shit to deal with in the middle.
Yeah, they did. They had disagreements. There was parts where they, didn't even want to, Callista didn't even want to see Zale. She was just like, I'm done with you. And Zale really went through a lot as like, I thought it was just really interesting of him like doubting his own goals and,
even though
not sure if he's really doing the right thing. I thought that was just really, really cool.
There was one moment that I wish wasn't in the game, which I don't know if it's just like a major spoiler, but there's a bad guy who is going to be bad. It's Count Argonaut. Basically, the first thing you hear from Callista is that he's a bad guy. But then, the game, gives you this scene where he's just plotting by himself in a room, which you didn't need at all, because, one, you already knew that he was a bad guy, but two, you could have made it a little bit more, ambiguous, because maybe, Zale could have, had some good feelings about him. He was, making all his dreams come true. And then you could have had that reveal come on later that, he's really a piece of shit. And they really didn't need that moment. And I wish it wasn't there. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Speaking of some of the characters and moments, the general, I can't remember his name, General
Ashtar.
Ashtar, yeah. First of all, I liked him a lot, actually.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the game, I thought, this is actually a good guy. I can just tell. Like, this is a really good person. And then it really kept killing me when they would show him. He just had this weird smile.
I was gonna mention that. Zale does that too sometimes. Like, they show a lot of expression when they're talking between each other. Like, when you get the dialogue with their portraits or their models talking.
Yeah.
And they have good they have good sync, like lip sync and whatever. But then like sometimes they just show this very creepy smile. It's like it was really off-putting.
On General Ashtar, it was the worst though.
Yeah.
He just looked evil every time. Every time it pointed to him, I just like, this guy looks so evil.
But he wasn't. He was.
I know, he wasn't.
The way he acted, I was like, I could tell he's a good guy. But the way he looked, that smile was killing me. I was like, is this on purpose? He just looks so weird. Oh, it was just funny. It was a funny face. I mean, I like the facial expressions that most.
No, they were good. They were good. It's just like it caught me off guard the very time I saw him. Like they were smiling very creepily. I was like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Era graphics.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah. You know, well, speaking of that, I mean, this game, it's a Wii game, but looks very good for a Wii game. You know, holds up still. I think. Though I was playing, so I played this game on my Wii U, and I know I actually had to ask. I asked Mina about this because I wasn't 100% sure. Because you know, a lot of times with games that are backwards compatible, you know, we have the PS5, Xbox Series X right now, and if you play backwards compatible games, they run a bit better on the new hardware. Mm-hmm. Well, so I was like, Mina, if you play a Wii game on the Wii U, does it run better? No, it doesn't. It runs the same. Because my Wii U, you could hear that thing fucking struggling with this game. The thing was just making a lot of noise, just like reading the disc, like, oh god, you know, they really pushed the Wii, I feel like, and almost to the point where it couldn't handle it in some specific issue, like certain points, because this game chugged the Wii. There was points where there was a lot going on, and the game could barely handle it. The Wii, at least, the Wii itself could barely handle it. You know, it was almost too ambitious for the Wii.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the slowdown, it happens a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't game-breaking or anything, and it's not like the combat is so precise that it really matters. You know, we're not playing a Platinum game here, you know what I mean? Like, you literally tilt the stick towards an enemy and he fucking attacks automatically. You don't have to really do anything. I literally, when I was grinding, I was playing this game with one hand. You know, just holding, I put the Wii remote down, I was just holding the nunchuck. So, like, you don't need that precise. But still, it was just, to me, I was like, wow. I mean, I could tell that they really pushed the Wii hardware in this, and to the point where it was just couldn't even handle it at some points. Because there's a lot going on, especially when you had, like, the multiple, like, you know, circles, like spell circles on the ground, and you had, like, the shields up, and, like, you had, like, 6 enemies surrounding you, and I was like, ooh, this game, you can feel the slowdown, you know, as it's trying to process all that stuff. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, the game ran fine. It looked really good, I think. I like the art style as well.
I don't know. I mean, it looked pretty drab. I mean, compared to something like Xenoblade, I think Xenoblade is so much better than this.
Oh, no, like,
better looking.
In terms
the
of
world looks better, the town,
yeah,
everything looks way better.
Yeah.
The only thing this game I would say has over Xenoblade is the facial expressions.
Yeah. I mean, Xenoblade 1, the character models, especially their faces, are something else. But now they look good with the remake. But I kind of would like to see this game get remade. In fact,
hey, I would definitely want this game to be
sure.
Yeah, that'd be nice to see. Nintendo, please, if you're listening, get on it, because this would be really cool. Also, random thing. Speaking of Nintendo, with this, before I forget to mention this, because I really wanted to, when they were making this game. I read that it had a sci-fi theme, but Nintendo, because they were publishing it, really said, no, we really want it to have a fantasy theme. so they changed it out of Nintendo's request.
I like this. I like this change.
I don't know. I kind of also like to see. It
also kind of has the sci-fi theme though.
A little bit, yeah.
You can still see it. I mean, there are like, when you get to the cannon, the stuff with the cannon, the Lazarus cannon, they're like metal tentacles
stuff,
and high tech stuff, and it looks like it's all wires connected and shit like that. And when you get to the Outsider, when you learn about what the Outsider is, that's like a fucking extraterrestrial. That's from space.
Yeah,
that's why they call it the Outsider.
Yeah, so I guess you can see that some of the original intent still kind of like they weren't able to get rid of it completely. Still kind of shines through. Yeah, I just think that's interesting that Nintendo was like, no, it's going to be a fantasy game. Probably because they wanted their own kind of Final Fantasy. Because they had Sakaguchi on it, so they were probably like, no, we want like something that people are going to see and be like, oh, that's a
they
Final
had the
Fantasy
original
game.
Final Fantasies on Nintendo consoles, so
Yeah, but they hadn't really been on there for a long time at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably wanted something to compete or seem similar to that. That's my best guess, at least. We don't know for sure, but we just know that they requested them to change the style. But yeah, I mean, there is some of it is kind of drab. Not as drab as the.
I like that
Pandora's
you can customize your outfit, like the colors and everything. With like your party members. That was a nice little touch.
You can customize it a bit.
Yeah, but something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's a little annoying that, well, maybe not annoying, but it's a little unfortunate that there are only like 6 different kinds of outfits to have, and they're all interchangeable basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, no character feels like a unique character really.
Right.
At least by the way they look.
The equipment was a little weird. Like the weapons were.
I like the weapons that the different not branches, but you can upgrade your weapons to a certain level, and then if you have a certain item, you can upgrade it to it's like another weapon, like entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Which
you get to like plus 9, I think though too when you're upgrading them.
Some
usually plus 5. I don't
Some of them are plus 5. Some of them are like plus 9, and then it turns into a super weapon or something like that.
Yeah. I got some of mine to plus 9 because you have to get like golden gnome or whatever the hell it was.
Gold, yeah.
Gnome gold, yeah.
Yeah, I got some of the. Well, I transformed some of the weapons.
Same. I wish I could find more salamander bones.
The equipment wasn't as interesting as the weapons, though.
If you choose from the beginning, basically, do you want more defense? Do you want more movement speed? Do you want more magical defense kind of thing? And then you stick with that equipment, and you just upgrade it. That's it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know how much that stuff matters, because you can't control your party.
No, you well, in a way, not directly.
I mean,
you control them if you want a certain move to happen.
Yeah, and you can tell them to retreat, and which means they go to like a healing circle, I guess. But it's so insufficient. I mean, especially for like something like the last boss, when you're not level 70, I guess. But yeah, if you try to fight that guy on like even playing field, you have to do a lot of movement because he can one-hit kill a lot of fucking people.
You do.
But I mean, yeah, I wish there was more control there. I wish it wasn't, all so automated. Like so much of it is automated.
And I kind of wish it wasn't like automated when it comes to like you just attacking the enemies too. So like when you hold, like you said before, you just hold up on the control stick, and when you're facing an enemy, you just auto attack them. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish that wasn't a thing, because there were certain situations where there was like an enemy. I was in a corner, like I get knocked back by a move or a spell or something, and I go flying into a corner, and then I get up and I try to move, and like the guy with the shield is like standing in front of me, and I can't fucking move because I press forward and he starts attacking. I want to move to the right or left when I can't because his body blocking me, and it's just really frustrating. That happened to me multiple times.
I think you can turn it off. Right?
I don't
can you turn
know
off
if you
the
can.
automatic attacking?
I don't think you can.
I swear you can. I think it was. I saw it pop up in the menu, where it was just like you can make it so you have to press A to attack.
I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't want to do that anyway because it would be a lot of just pressing the same button.
The soft lock-ons for that stuff was very annoying.
Yeah, I do agree.
Because every time you got within a range of somebody, you were just attacking. You can't really maneuver around them. You can't target somebody else, especially if you want to target like
surrounded. You're
magic
fucked.
caster. Yeah.
Surrounded by strong enemies, at least. Weak enemies, you can just kind of like just tilt the stick towards each of them and keep knocking them down. Yeah, but
it reminded me. It reminded me a little bit of Ys, like playing something like Ys, where you just walk into somebody and they get hit.
Yep. Yeah, it is a little bit like that. You know, you do have a special meter, which each character has their own like special like ultimate attack as well. But you can use your the power of the outsider to like use a draw aggro, like called gathering. And you also have like the ability to change, like what the hell is it called? Like you diffuse like spell circles.
Diffuse
Gale.
Yeah.
Gale's the move that you use. Yeah.
It's like so the combat, you know, it has a couple layers. You know, it's not very complicated, but I feel like at the end of the game, you have to know how to do it, or you're gonna have a bad time.
I never used vertical slice.
Whenever I did at the last boss,
purely by accident.
The last boss, I did.
It's a bad move. The camera's not good for that move.
No, yeah.
Don't you have to like run up a wall?
And then as you're running up the wall, the camera just like glues to you, like goes to a top view, and it's just like, okay, now move the camera to select your enemy while you're Spider-Man.
You could also just climb on top of the boxes.
Yeah,
that's what I did. I climbed on top of the boxes, and then I did a vertical slice off one of them right onto his head.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. So I did kill.
I did not like that move.
Yeah, I didn't either. It was hard to pull off. It didn't always work. You're like going towards walls.
You need to be on an actual like straight surface. If it's like slanted in any way, it's not happening.
Yeah. There's like times where I was cornered and I was like, cool, if I could just do like vertical slice, I'd get myself out of here. But like I couldn't.
No.
Yeah.
Because you can't face the wall because they keep attacking the fucking enemy.
That and also like the camera is not very cooperative. Like
sometimes it's like it wants you to look at this one specific enemy when you're trying to force it to move around.
And sometimes it will only let you move in one direction. Like if it'll just be like locked in one direction, like you can't move that way. So you have to move the opposite way for some reason. It's very strange.
It would have been a benefit to have like a normal control scheme where you like use 2 control sticks to like.
You can use a classic controller.
Oh, can you use? I hate the classic controller, by the way, on the Wii. At least the one I have. I don't have the Pro, and I hate the other one. I
have the GoldenEye one, so it has the little
nice.
Got
the fucking
holder,
the handles.
Yeah, the other one's just, for me at least, it's too small and the triggers suck to press. And holding it gets uncomfortable after a while. Especially, I don't know, I just don't like it. But yeah, I feel like the other one would be better. But can you use the stick to control the camera on that one or
yes.
no?
Yeah.
But it still struggles.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and
I
still won't let you move sometimes, and it's very strange.
I played it with the fucking Joy-Con, or not the Joy-Con, the fucking Wii Remote and the Nunchuck, right? And you don't have any control over the camera other than you press Z to center it behind you.
Ooh, that's even worse.
Yeah, that's all you have. So you have to like constantly pressing Z to change where the camera is, or else it just stays in the same spot and kind of goes where it wants. So yeah, it's way worse. But you get used to it. It just becomes second nature to constantly be pressing Z to like change your angle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to talk spoilers?
Sure, why not?
Like the end, the last story, the spoilers. Okay, we're gonna I'll put a tag in the if you don't want to hear us talk about the story spoilers, just go down to the description below. There will be a time tag where you can just skip, so that you can.
I definitely recommend you skip the spoilers if you have any intention of playing this or even thinking about playing this. Definitely skip spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely. So spoilers. How do you feel about the final boss, the final boss being?
I didn't think he would
Dagger.
be the final boss. So, well, since we're talking spoilers, we can say who it is. So,
Yeah.
there was chapter 32 or something where Dagran just disappears. Like, everybody's on your
Yeah.
party but Dagran.
Mhm.
And, like, nobody says anything. Like, none even mentions Dagran at all. And I'm like,
Yeah, but
after
I
a
was
couple of
thinking,
chapters,
where the
like,
hell is Dagran?
yeah, where the fuck is Dagran? Why is nobody talking about him, not mentioning? And then he just appears as the final boss.
I mean, I knew when he was gone that he was gonna show up and he was.
I knew that he was
bad guy.
like after he was missing for so long. I was connecting all the dots. I was like, okay, so like previous events, like him like framing Jural, which we haven't spoken about Jural surprisingly. Him framing Jural, sometimes mysteriously disappearing in the middle of the fight at the castle. Like it was like okay, he probably because it would explain how he got like the Gurok signature, the Gurok being
he's up to something.
Yeah. The Gurok being the actual, like, other enemies that you find in the game, which we didn't mention either.
The other race.
The other race, yeah. But I expected him to appear before Zagreok, which is the main bad guy. I thought he was going to be, like, reveal that, I was working with them because I wanted to do something, or because I hated people and things like that, which he did. He did it purely out of revenge. But yeah, I didn't expect him to actually be the final boss and get the power of the outsider, the other outsider, and all that shit. I was like, okay. Just
Yeah, I mean,
so easily obtained it. I have nothing. Okay.
almost as soon as he was so cozy with the Count, like I started getting vibes from him, like because like right away he was already like the right hand man of the Count, like he could convince the Count of something.
I just thought it was like really
something was
good
fucked
with
up
that
there.
shit. It was like very diplomatic. Because he
No,
does give the feeling from like even from the very beginning, like he's trying to make everything work, make everybody nice, trying to lead a better life. So he's constantly in the background, like being the mind behind everything, trying to.
Yeah, I mean
he is.
He is, and
Yeah.
and I just figured like there's a chance.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking. Like, there's a chance that something is gonna pop off there,
Yeah.
and it did.
Yeah. I wasn't like super shocked just because he was gone for so long. I feel like if they had kept him around, and then all of a sudden he like closed the door on you or like did something like right at the last second, I would have been more taken back, But
Yeah.
I think just him being gone for so long was like it's just a dead giveaway that he was going to show up and be bad.
They do keep it like a little bit close to the vest. Like it's not super noticeable. Like
Yeah.
No, yeah.
there's plausible deniability there. Like
Sure. And I for the most part, I was kind of disappointed by the King of the Gurak. He was pretty easy. Also,
I
he
like
looked
the-
a lot like Ganondorf.
Yeah,
He looked like
it's
Twilight
very
Princess
kind of
Ganondorf.
like, yeah. But I did like he did have some not logic, but like his goal made sense from his own standpoint, even though
Yeah.
like he wasn't one of those just power hungry guys like fucking the Count. It was just like, I want to rule everybody, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, he was actually trying to, like, he had given up on, like, humans and the Gurak actually being able to, like, live together on the same continent or planet, whatever.
yeah, because humans
And-
fucked them over basically.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
just
they
wants
did.
to make sure that his race isn't the one that gets extinct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's always good when you have
That
a
kind of
relatable
villain,
villain.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly, yeah. And
But then on the other hand, at least for me, I thought Dagran at the end it was just a little odd to me. His like intentions, like
yeah, like
with the power, like I get like because even after you beat him, right? He like is like, I'm sorry guys, like I was doing this for you, like you got like. And then it's like this bittersweet, like you're not really mad at him, even though he's the final boss. I was like, man, I don't know. I
feel like they pushed it a little too far with that, yeah.
Well,
Like-
I think they needed to make clear, which I think this is what they were going for, that he wanted the power, but then he got like seduced by the outsider, like
Yeah,
the
he got
rage of the
power,
outsider. That's why he started acting like super, megalomaniacal. Well, especially like during the fight, he's like, "Oh, I love the screams of human beings," or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Which
But
we
yeah.
do see that effect, like the outsider having that effect on people, because that happens a lot with like as soon as they give his portion of Zagorak's power to Jiral, like he already wanted revenge. Like all Jiral wanted was revenge on Zale because he fucked shit up for him, and like as soon as he got the power, like it just multiplied times 100.
Yeah, he went full homicidal maniac.
Yeah.
Which was
So
very
we do
fun.
know like that power of the outsider has that effect on people. So it explains how Dagran like just all of a sudden.
But I wish they delineated that more because, like, he was already like this Machiavellian character from the beginning. So, like he had some of these, evil intentions or bad intentions already. But then they don't really delineate what's the outsider's influence and what's Dagran's actual intent.
Yeah, true.
It gets muddied, and then they kind of try to bring it back without really explaining it very well, or giving us a reason why.
That's why I feel it would have been better if Dagran was before Zagorak.
I mean, I like him as the last boss, actually. I think Zagorak...
Yeah, it's good, but I feel like it would fit in better given the circumstances.
I think that would have been a little too expected. I like the surprise here.
Yeah, I agree. I knew that he couldn't... That, Zagorak couldn't be the last boss. So I was like, there's got to be something. Bigger power, some god, something crazy, that's going to be the actual final boss. And yeah, I was right. But yeah, the last boss fight, incredibly fucking hard. If you if you try to fight him, if you're not I would say you probably have to be
2 or 3.
Yeah, I would say you have to at least be like level 60 because I tried at level 56, and I was struggling with that. I mean, I had to grind, and then I just got mad. I mad grinded. That's why I was so high. But
I mean, I grinded for like 10 minutes, and I got like 10 levels.
Yeah. I mean, it's very easy to level up. It's very easy. The game's very forgiving in terms of leveling up.
This just saves constantly.
Yeah. I really didn't want to grind, so I fought him at like level 56 at like 3 or 4 times, and man, I got close, but not close enough.
I got wicked close. I got to his last stage. I probably had him like half down, and I was really just like, it was just me and what's her name? Marania. It was just me and Marania, and I was just like, come on, I was like, you gotta get revived back. Get revived back. I was like, come on. I was trying to dodge attacks, but man, if you get hit by one attack, you were like fucking dead.
And also, he could break through your unbreakable barrier somehow, so yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. It was pretty bullshit. And man, in the second stage he kept raining down those fucking spikes that would like put death on everybody, and everybody was too stupid to fucking go in the healing circle, and they would just die or keep getting knocked down. Or
you had to dissipate the healing circle because otherwise it wouldn't take it away. But
use Gale on it.
Yeah, use Gale on it. No, if you walk in it takes away death. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it does.
I know it does. It does. It absolutely does.
I was playing this game like 2 hours ago. I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
I swear to God, because I wasn't dissipating it, and I just was walking in, and death was going away. Also, what a stupid status effect. Death? It's like, what the fuck? You just instantly die if you run out of time. I was like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a lot of Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
I had 2 weapons that was like a 30% chance to cause a charm on an enemy, so I gave both of them to Serene, and she was doing every fight. There would be like at the end of like I would kill all the enemies, and I was like, wait, there's still one more enemy because my weapons are still joined and whatnot, and I'm like, where is he? Where is he? And I just see a fucking random enemy just standing next to Serene, just chilling, waiting for the fucking effect to go off before he becomes like killable again.
Serene kept dying on the final boss for me because she would just not give a fuck. She would just head straight towards him and keep getting killed.
But I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it's so hard to like give your party any.
It's either go all out or don't attack. Like that's it. You don't have options. Like, be cautious, keep your distance, follow me. Like,
move to this place.
Yeah. It would have been nice to have a little bit more over the control. Okay, is there any more spoilers you guys want to talk about?
No.
No.
I like Horace. Horace is a good boy. I like his interaction. Even though he was just a shopkeeper, he became a party member. He helped him out. He helped you out in the story quite a bit. He later becomes like your main shopkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Every time you summon him and he like freaks out, it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Lowell. He's funny.
Yeah.
I like this. It felt kind of out of place, but it was hilarious. And I don't know. It wasn't really out of place because it was like a bonding moment with Seren and Lowell. They really started to like bond towards the end of the game. And like this, just the scene where the block hits him in the nuts was really funny.
Yeah.
And then Seren gets hit in the back of the head. Like it was just a funny little bonding moment between them.
Yeah. I really like that like bond interactions like in the last chapters between those two because
they really at least started like kind of hating each other, you know? Because it like Lowell is kind of like he's a late pervert, kind of goes after the ladies and they always just fought, but then near the end they started really getting along, and then Dagran too, because Lowell like either dies or is almost dead. I think he actually does die.
He actually did die, yeah.
And then Dagran, I guess, takes his life spirit and gives it to him. It's weird.
Yeah.
Or like a fragment of the outsider or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So
but he basically
revives
revives him. Yeah. He basically revives him at the end, which is cool. I like that.
I'm glad because
and I feel like Lowell matures, especially at the end, like right at the end too. Like he's just like, maybe he was always mature, but you just see this like, just the other side of him, but more. Yeah. So it was cool. I
I wish I had more. Like, I feel like in the beginning he didn't really use. He was in your part the least.
I feel like he is throughout the whole game in your party the least.
Which is a shame.
I think Dagran.
I also wish I could use other characters and not Zale. Because I really wanted to use Serene at one point because she had she holds two weapons. I want to be a dual wielder.
Well, you do use her for like a very short period.
Yeah,
very
use all of them for a very short amount of time.
And then I wish want to test out how to like use the magic, and you do get to use some. You get to use Yurik in some parts. You get to use you get to use Lowell in some parts too, which is really cool. And I do not like how they use the magic. It's not fun using a magic user.
Just
unless you have like. I did have some items that give you a lot faster casting speed, which helped a lot. But if I had to stand there for fucking 15 seconds to cast a spell every time I wanted to cast a spell, I'd been no.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I want to mention, this is a spoiler, so before we stop, Yurik, with his second eyeball, like, out of nowhere.
Yeah, very out of nowhere.
Yeah. That was very strange. Unexplainable. This eyeball is basically Sharingan. I can fucking increases my power.
I can summon a giant meteor now in the middle of the last boss.
It's strange, but it also kind of works because there is an unknown history between these characters. It's not like they just met. So, I mean, you could imagine that, maybe at a past date that we never heard of before, that they have talked about this eye before. Like, it's conceivable.
Yeah, sure.
But it does come out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely out of nowhere. You're like, oh, well, he had a second weird anime eye behind that eye, and he also can summon a meteor now, which is convenient.
Yeah.
Now it's the only way to break the boss's shield.
I mean, I did like the sense of these shared history between these characters, like Dagran and Zale, that they had, they would talk about, how we have to be careful because other people in our crew died because we were doing crazy shit for no reason.
And you meet that other guy that's like a big douche that like used to be on their team or whatever.
Yeah.
Zol,
which I thought was
something.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You meet him later on in the game too, which is funny.
Yeah, being a shopkeeper.
One of the best, I think one of the key things and the best things about this game is definitely the banter and the interactivity and like the connection the characters have between each other is really, really, really good.
Yeah. That and the pacing, I think, are the best things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, with all that being said, spoilers are done. And time for recommendations. So let's go start with Ills. After playing the last story, would you recommend it to somebody?
Yeah, I mean, stick with it if you you're not gonna find like a very deep game, like gameplay wise, but story wise, it's gonna be enjoyable. So yeah, stick with it.
Okay, Noah.
Yeah, for sure. It won't be your last story, but it will be a very good one.
It won't be your Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it will be a Final Fantasy. Yeah. The characters are great. The story's good. Battle could be better, but it doesn't take away from the experience. Yeah, if you're into RPGs, of course, pick this up, check it out.
Okay. And for me, I would say, yeah. And that's a 3 out of 3 for me, for saying yes to all of the, Operation Rainfall games. You should check them all out. And because of this podcast, I have now played all 3 of them. So, yeah, they're all good games, please. So support them. I know unfortunately, it's not super easy, super easy to get Pandora's Tower, the last story nowadays, but I would say play it any way you can. And then Xenoblade, there's the remake, so it's right there, available on Switch. So definitely, I would definitely recommend this, and I would definitely recommend the other 2 Operation Rainfall games. But with that, where does it rank between the other Operation Rainfall games in particular? Because we need to take the last story and put it on the list.
The list.
You can follow along with the list in the Pastebin link that is in the description below, where every week on the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, or every episode, we take the game that we played and we have to put it on this list, ranked from best to worst, and we have to decide where it goes between all those other games that are already there. There's also other games we add every week on the Jump Up Supercast every Monday. So if you want to keep up with the list, you need to listen to every episode. But go ahead, click on the link, see what we're talking about here. And Ills, we'll start with you. Since you picked it, where do you think it should go?
Alright, so what I was looking at, what I got familiar vibes from this game was another club game that we played, which was Phantasy Star 4. It's kind of had like a similar feel to this. It had a brisk pace to it. It was your characters changed out a lot. There was a lot of movement within the party, and you got to know the characters pretty well. I mean, more in this game than that game, of course, but yeah, and it ultimately came to a satisfying end. So I think around that area was where I was looking at, which is 68.
68.
Yeah, I was looking around the 50s. Yeah, I would be willing to put it even higher, but there are definitely some aspects of the game that feel like they should have been, well, not should have, but could have been improved vast, like the battles, like we said, the whole fighting system, which is a big part of the game, unfortunately, but they definitely got a lot of things right with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a pretty good spot, considering looking at the game surrounding it, right? Because, you have another RPG a few spots above that, right, with Valkyria Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Valkyria Chronicles, one of its best points is combat.
Yeah.
Where, and then Gears of War. Art style is very good, like that.
And the actual
watercolor.
It's almost maybe not on par, but it still has good characters and interactivity between them too.
Yeah.
So that's a good reference point.
Yeah. But then looking at right underneath it too, with Gears of War, the combat in that is very, very satisfying. Gears of War is weird because I feel like it didn't the whole series as a whole, in terms of third person shooters. I feel like if you look at it, it doesn't really reinvent the wheel, but it takes everything that had already been done with third person shooters at the time and just does it all so good. You know what I mean?
I mean, it does do new things second wind stuff and
it's and it has the chainsaw, but
you're talking about Gears of War. I was talking about Borderlands.
Oh, but I mean, Borderlands as well. Also, another which is an RPG, has satisfying combat with Borderlands.
Yeah.
The story falls short for me, at least for Borderlands, especially with 1, especially at the end.
Yes. That's a common complaint.
Yeah, but the combat in Borderlands is really what keeps you playing, at least for me. It's really fun to like constantly get new loot and gear. But yeah, I think this is a good area. I think I would put it above Phantasy Star 4.
Yeah, I would too. I'm willing to go higher than Gears of War 2. But
you want it below Valkyria then? You want it above Valkyria then?
I'll have it. No, I feel more it should be below it than above it, but
yeah, I think it should.
I'm not
be
opposed
below,
to
personally.
it.
Okay, I'm fine with below it.
I would put it below. Personally, for me, I would put it below Borderlands.
I don't know. I feel like I should put it like. I'd feel above Borderlands.
And above Gears.
Yeah. Oh, I don't really have an opinion on Gears because
I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put it above Gears.
All right, let's go below Gears then.
Okay. So that puts it at number 66 on the list, and surrounding it, it's got good games surrounding it. We got 64 Valkyria Chronicles, which, by the way, was a Game Club game. So if you want to hear us talk about that, you can find that episode. Number 65. Long time ago. Very long time ago.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, it was before you were there. And it was like one of the first episodes we did. So Valkyria Chronicles, number 64. Number 65, Gears of War. Number 66, The Last Story. 67, Borderlands. 68, Mario Kart DS, which moved up on the list recently, too.
Yes.
So we did a re-rank.
Criminally well.
So
criminally high.
So with that, that is near the end of the podcast. But we're not done completely just yet. So before you turn off the podcast, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. You can find us, if you like listening to this episode, you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Where new episodes of the Game Club go up every other Thursday, as well as the Jump Up Supercast. That's the regular episodes where we talk about video game news and just video game topics in general discussion, and rank games on the list every episode. You can check those out every single Monday. And then if you wanted to, we would really appreciate it if you want to give us a follow on any of those platforms. A like, a share goes a long way. Give us a 5-star ranking on iTunes. Feel free to let us know what you thought about The Last Story, if you've ever played it, or if you were interested in playing it now, down in the comments below. Did we put it on the right spot on the list? Just let us know. Tell us if we fucked up, or if we did a great job. Support us if you enjoy. If you enjoy the podcast and you want us to give us some support. Beyond doing that, we do have a Patreon. For just $1 a month, you get a chance to choose one of our Game Club games every round, and we are about to choose one in just a moment. Not choose, I already did the raffle last night, but I'll let you know what that next game is. It's a Patreon pick, so if there is a game you want us to play, you get the chance. Once a round, we do a raffle. So $1 a month, you support the podcast. You can also join our Discord server. Talk to us about video games there. We also have a Twitch, twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast, where Mina's been playing, not Dark Souls, but Demon Souls. There we go. Demon Souls on PS5. I was playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot the other night. So we play games there, and I'm probably going to play the next Game Club game on stream as well. So please give us a follow, hang out, play video games. And if you want to follow us on social media, we have a Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So just if you want to stay up to date when episodes go live and all that, they get posted there as well. Thank you guys for listening. But our next game, Patreon pick, is going to be Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. Game won the raffle. Game was chosen by Patreon supporter Kevin. And I'm sure he's very excited to have us play this game. I don't know a lot about it. Other than
I have no idea what it is, but it sounds good.
It stars NBA superstar Charles Barkley. It is a fan-made RPG Maker game. So, we're gonna, okay. I mean, it has an entry on how long to beat, so it's an official game, I guess. It wasn't officially released, but it's a game that has an entry on how long to beat, so I guess that's all that's important here. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Ills and Noah, for playing games once again. And everybody, I want you to do me a favor. Go out, play video games, and be nice to each other.